Welcome to the Roots and Rhythm podcast, where we explore the essence of culture, our experiences, and a healing journey that shapes our growth in family. Through heartfelt stories about marriage, mental health, relationships, and parenting, we create a space where you can find connection, understanding, and inspiration. Join us as we explore the rhythms of life, one story at a time.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Roots and Rhythm podcast, where we explore the rhythms of life, one story at a time. It's your boy, Vlad the Bull, your number one embrace coach. And you know I'm joined by the lovely, my co-host, the one and only.
Angie, la cyber mommy.
She is in the building. Hot today.
It is hot.
Massachusetts is finally seeing its first summer heat wave. And it's probably the first in like a decade. I'm playing, but it's what I'm trying to say. It's cold
warm.
most of the time.
It's been warm. Your girl got a tan. We went to the beach. I also don't like the beach, but I went to the beach.
I'm curious, what don't you like about
the sand?
Okay, that's where I feel
the
too.
Sand.
Because I feel particularly self-conscious about the fact that I'm a Caribbean-bred brother.
Same, Vlad.
And
Same.
it runs in my blood, but I'm adverse to sweating and I'm adverse to sand. So
I also hate to sweat, but I do like that I got a little color.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't really look it on the camera because of the big ass lights. But I did. If we turn off these lights, I did. So I'm very happy about my little tan.
I could tell.
Yeah. Yeah. So my winter white is gone.
Your
and now I just have
white.
my regular white.
Now I must ask you this. Do you burn?
I do. I burn, but this is the first time in a long time that I've actually tanned versus just turned red and then it goes back to leche. Because I like to say I'm café con leche, but way more leche.
In the academy, there was this girl who was my classmate, and you know, in the academy, the DIs, they don't do this anymore, but they used to hurl all sorts of insults at you. And this one of the drill instructors called this trainee, it was a female, it's like, "You sack of milk." I was like, what is life right now, bro? What is this? How is a person a sack of milk?
A sack of milk.
Oh, man. Good times. Yeah. So that's what's new in Massachusetts, where we are. Before we even subscribe to this weather, I need you to subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you hit the click and subscribe, share this, and make sure you put this as your favorite podcast. Favorite this in your podcast, wherever you get
Give
them.
us 5 stars.
Give us 5 stars, please. If you like what you hear, share it with your friends. We're trying to extend the reach to Roots and Rhythm. Matter of fact, we're particularly trying to extend the reach of the rhythm and the roots, because we are coming up on our 1-year anniversary.
Can you believe? Wow.
1
whole
of
year.
Roots and Rhythm.
1 whole year and like 300 YouTube shorts.
300 and
we
counting.
have a lot. We have
a lot of
shorts.
YouTube shorts. We have a ton of content. So please do yourself a favor. If you like what you see here, make sure you click subscribe, follow our content, share it, get it out, and we want to hear from you. So if you're not a robocaller, please get up,
please,
because
please.
I am tired of getting these robocalls on my phone, bro.
Robocalls, robo emails, just all the things.
Robocalls, robo emails. You know, the other day, somebody, because it's always like an 833 or an 800 number or an 888 number, and so I knew it was like, hey, we're just looking over your loan application, make sure that you want to. So I just picked up one day, Andrew. And I clicked the numbers and I went through it. And so the person's like, "Hey, so we see that we have a loan here for approved for $86,000 if you want to secure that," and blah blah. And it says this whole spiel. So I let him speak. I don't say anything. And then he said, "Is that okay with you?" And I went silent on the phone for about a few seconds. I said, "I just picked up to tell you to stop fucking calling my phone."
I know you're doing a job, but please stop doing that job.
Like, it wasn't enough, because you know they have the option for you to hit 9 if you want to be removed off. I'm like, I've done that and I just got sold to somewhere else. I'm calling you personally to tell you to stop calling my phone,
please,
or I will find you. All right,
seriously.
I need you to go non-contact. That's what I need you to do. I need you, don't take me off the contact list.
Just go no
contact.
And that goes right into, Vlad, what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've noticed, but online, all the advice from the real psychologists, the fake ones, The ones with no,
Influencers and
the
clinicians alike,
influencers
yeah.
and with no degrees and the ones with degrees. Their advice is their advice is to cut them off.
Might be a little too new for that.
Right. Cut them off, go no contact. But I know for a lot of us, especially those from migrant backgrounds or immigrant backgrounds, Caribbean backgrounds, it's not as easy, and it's not something that we just walk away from family all willy-nilly. So that's something that we're going to talk about today.
Well, I think it's great to talk about this right on time. There's never a bad time to talk about this, Angie, particularly because there's an intersection of American culture and the cultural norms and values that we grew up with. And we talk a lot about overcoming previous experiences, healing from our trauma, changing the rhythm of our lives, examining our roots, and all these things are important. But we can't have this conversation without talking about the implications that it has in our immediate lives. Like there are times that I have gone no contact, but I'd like to understand what the meaning of that is and examine that, because we also have to understand the context in which this exists in the United States and the Western world. And so I'm really excited to talk about this because I think a lot of our listeners and our viewers are going to get some value from it. But also, we hope that this can help you navigate a situation that you may be up against right now, where you have a loved one, particularly a parent, who is particularly difficult for you to get along with lately, and you're just thinking about pulling the plug and choosing yourself. And I will not say that's wrong.
No.
But let's talk about it.
Right. I think it definitely depends on the situation. So no contact to me means literally no contact. Like we don't check in, we don't talk, we don't share updates. Like we're not speaking. We're not contacting in any way, shape, or form. Contact via email, contact over phone, contact in person. And that's why I'm like, that's very hard. And I know, American lifestyle is very individualized. So I think it's easier. The more American you are, the more that you could go no contact with your family. But as Wallace likes to say, like my family in particular, he says that we're codependent. And I like to tell him that's a Western ideal.
well, what does he mean when he says that?
Because like we're in constant contact. Like he left our group chat because he's like, y'all talk too much. And anything that happens, he's like, of course you're going to call your sister. And not that he doesn't like my sisters. He loves my sisters. But he's just like, of course you're going to go call your sisters. Something just went down, right? So that's what he means. And I get it from his perspective because he grew up an only child. All his siblings are way older than him. Like they already had kids by the time Wallace and I met. So he was an uncle when he was born. All his nieces and nephews are older than him. Like he's the baby of everyone. Nieces and nephews, siblings, everybody.
Are they particularly close?
They're close-ish, as close as you can be with someone that's like 40 years older than you.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
There's a gap that big?
In some of his siblings, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait, 40 years?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. His nieces and nephews, some of them are in their 40s.
You got to hit that Kevin Hart. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're as close as you can be to like your uncle or someone that's, way older than you. So it's like he doesn't get it because of how he grew up. But I couldn't imagine going completely no contact. Intentionally. Like I do have boundaries with some family members. Like we're not going to hang out and there's things that we don't discuss, but I would never also not go no contact voluntarily with someone either. And I think it's because I haven't been hurt. Now I understand if there has been hurt, especially like maybe physical hurt or like some sort of mental gymnastics you have to play with people.
Yes, yeah.
Like please cut them off, like for your own sanity and mental health. But I just haven't experienced that.
For me, it's a mixed bag. So no contact, as I see it defined, is cutting off all communication. No text, no call, no liking. No, quick segue, just real quick. When I was working in Sturbridge, you know how you file a protective order and that person's not to call you or contact you or come within
1,000 feet or whatever.
300 yards or whatever
300
it is.
yards, okay.
You know what state with the police, you got to use the yards. You good? With the police, you got to use the yards increments because, it sounds more official that way.
That's how y'all do it.
So one thing that actually made more case law, which influences, state law and actual law, was that there was a guy who had a protective order against him from his ex-girlfriend, and he didn't call her.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't go to her place of work or her home or within 300 yards, but he made another Facebook account and was just liking her things unnecessarily, and at times antagonizing her through this fake Facebook account. And somehow my classmate was able to trace it back to him, run the IP address, use some, I don't know what unit he got in contact with, maybe it was cybercrime, but then was able to create a case that this man had violated the order, even though it wasn't a traditional way. And so I bring that up to say that there are so many ways now that we can communicate with people that are indirect, right? So you don't like somebody, cool. You might not contact them, but you might still see them on their Facebook stories. You might be liking their Snapchats, so you might be hearting their, and is that okay? And we're going to get into what no contact means per type of relationship in a little bit. But I think no contact is necessary when there's no other recourse, right? So the example that I give is when my son was first born, it triggered something in my mom and my brother. And not my mom and my brother, my mom and my father, actually. So they both I talk about how they went bad on me both at the same time. I'm like, why is everybody attacking me? Like, I'm in a vulnerable position here. And, my mom was just doing the Caribbean thing, right? Oh, I sent her a couple pictures of Lito. She's like, oh, there's no socks, there's no hat. Oh, my God, you put him in a sweater, he's going to die.
Moms are the same.
My uncle, and she was recruiting my uncle and recruiting my aunt. If she couldn't get through to me and complain about something that she didn't like, then she was sending my aunt. She sent my uncle. My uncle at one point was like, "Oh, Vladimir, I don't know about the swaddle. It could paralyze his legs." And I'm like, does that make any sense to you?
Bro, we always take the girls to DR like every 2-3 years we go, and it's the middle of the heat. And the girls are literally in like a onesie and no socks, obviously no hat. It's hot as hell. And it's like, why doesn't that baby have on socks? Because we're all sweating. Okay. What? Oh, they're going to get a chill.
A chill in 90 degrees?
There's no chill. Yeah, they're going to get a chill. Because, in the morning, it's like 3 degrees cooler than it is in the rest of the day. Yes, Vlad. And I was like, I'm the mom, so we're sockless.
Right.
Okay?
And that's what it boils down to,
Yes.
is respect me as a parent. And I think often if you're a parent who, and I'm not a psychologist, so I can't speak to why this happens, but for my mom, I felt like she could not accept that I was not an extension of her and I was my own person. And now that I'm married and that you should have seen that as me. I moved out, I got married, I'm creating my own life, I make my own money, like everything's separate. I'm no longer an extension. We can be alike. I'm always going to be your son, but it doesn't have to be you living my life for me.
Yeah, and
right?
I think it's hard to, and I see myself doing this sometimes, and I'm trying to like not do it, but I think it's hard as parents for us to realize that our kids are growing up, and they can be individuals, and they can be independent, and they can do for themselves. Yeah. Because even Alana's almost 7 years old. Believe it. And she can do for herself, but what do I try to do? I try to do stuff still. And Wallace is the one that's like, bro, she can do that.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, you're right. But it's like you always see them as little, even though you're a grown ass 30+-year-old. And I'm trying like not to be like that, but it is hard to try to snap out of it. And that's with me knowing. So imagine your mom isn't thinking like that. You know what I mean? Like trying to put 2 and 2 together, and maybe no one showed her that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's hard to accept that your kids are growing up.
It is. And at this age, you just want to glob on to any little bit of it because it is fleeting. Like you just showed me a picture of Alana earlier, and I could already see how much older she looked than when I first met her. Yep. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, bro. Like this is they're not playing when they say this, right? So anyway, all that being said, to go back, my mom she was throwing too many jabs. Yeah. She was being a little bit too aggressive, and I got to the point where I had to say, I'm disengaging with you for now. And it's not like we didn't talk. I'd still send her pictures every day of her son, but we didn't talk. Yeah. Now, mind you, my mom and I's relationship was she called me whenever she felt like it and expected me on the phone for as long as she felt like it. I remember one time she called me at work, and she's like, Vladimir, I need to tell you a story about some lady in her life. And I'm like, yo, Ma, I'm actually in the middle of an investigation. Can we wait? Can I call you back? She's like, no, but let me tell you. I'm like, Mom, I'm at work. I know, but bom do. I'm like, I'm like, Mom, I need to work, okay? Can't be on the phone with you right now. I'd be on the road. Just like, Vlad, I'm like, I'm in the middle of an investigation. Can you please? Anyway, so it wasn't complete cut off of communication, but I had to make the difficult decision because, Lito was born in December. My mom's birthday was in January. We're not in a good place. So I made the decision to not go to her birthday that year. That was the first birthday of my mom's that I've missed, possibly ever. And it was a very difficult decision, but I knew that I was getting to the point where I was showing up with less and less of myself to tend to my newborn son.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, if you're not able to make that boundary right away, while you're single or married, whatever it is, while you're childless, your children will get you to do some stuff and confront some stuff. Or they'll get you to run from some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I guess I could have just acquiesced and said, oh, Mom, you're completely right. I should just do. How's that going to work in my marriage?
No, exactly, exactly. And we've talked about this before in a different context, but it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
Your mom is going to be fine. She is a grown up. And you just had a baby. Your baby's less than a month old for her birthday. She will be okay.
And she was okay.
And she was fine.
She was just fine. Now, I think it hurt her feelings. I think
for sure.
Definitely. But if I had not gone less contact.
Full boundary.
Yeah. I made a full boundary. I did not see her. I didn't see my mom. I don't remember the last time I saw her before Lito was born. Possibly the baby shower, actually, in November. Or no, Christmas. It wasn't even Christmas because Lito was born 2 weeks before that. And
Thanksgiving?
Oh no. It was January 1st.
Okay.
It was January 1st.
Oh, you had to go get your soup jumu?
Yeah, I can't go out without my soup
I'm gonna miss your birthday, but have that soup.
Have that soup jumu for me.
Boundary.
Okay? Boundary. Put me within that soup jumu boundary with soup jumu surrounding
Make
me.
a moat.
If you know what I'm talking about, soup jumu, man, put that in the comment. All my Zoes, what's up? Sakafet. Yeah. So I didn't see my mom again after that until my birthday in March. And it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. I wasn't deliberately trying to send a message to my mom more than I was trying to give myself care. But I think my mom got the message, okay, maybe I'm pushing too hard.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I'm pushing too hard. I don't think my mom got deeper than that. But like to say like, I don't want to see him grow up and all that. I don't think that reflection, and maybe it had, I don't know. But yeah, so I think it works as an absolute last resort. But I want to ask you this though. Like growing up, was cutting off family ever an option for you? Like was that something you've ever even seen happen in your family? And for you, when things would get tough between your mom or you or your sisters or whatever, was cutting off that family member and just saying, hey, yo, I don't F's with you ever an option?
No, never an option. There has been stints, with my siblings where we get mad at each other and we go like a few days not talking, but it's never like I'm never going to speak to you ever again in my whole life. Never anything like that. We do have a sibling that she's decided to cut herself out of all of us. But we know that she's the problem because how are 7 people wrong? This is my dad's kid.
Oh.
Yeah. How are 7 people? You know what I'm saying?
That's already kind of messy.
You're already jealous of us because we're cool and we all and we're all together and you are jealous of that and you don't want any part of it. So she makes up these ideas in her brain and then tries to get her kids to not like us, but her kids love us because we're cool and we're full of love. And yeah, so I love my nieces, I love my nephew, and nothing's gonna break that up as much as haters be trying.
Now, what do you feel like it would take for you to actually go no contact with somebody you cared about?
You'd have to do something to like Wallace or the kids.
And what would that something be? I mean, that something could be you came and said something nasty about my husband.
Yeah, I would say something nasty, like something hurtful, like physically harm them in some way, like just be nasty. But I don't think anyone in my family's like that. Yeah, but I think that's what it would take. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because
I just couldn't imagine not speaking to the family that I love.
And you're bonded with.
And I'm super bonded with.
Yeah.
Now, I have set boundaries with my mom. Like we talked about you setting boundaries with your mom.
Yeah,
I used to handle the so my mom has a lot of businesses. She's like a businesswoman, and I used to do her accounting for her. And
oh my God.
yes, for years, Vlad, to the point that during COVID, she was just not following COVID protocols. I know.
Meaning what though?
Like she'd sent her employees places after I've already told the businesses like, hey, we're not going there. She had a cleaning business. It's like, we're not going to go clean some, and I wouldn't say who was sick. You know, it was very like, you know, you don't talk about that.
Sure.
It's like someone within the company is sick. We're not going to go service the building. We'll be there next week or whatever. And my mom would still send people after I already told these people we're not showing up because someone is sick. Right. So I'm like, Mommy, I'm not doing this anymore. I was like, our relationship is strictly going to be mother-daughter. I don't even want to know about the business. Like, I don't care. Cutting off, and I send all of it to my sister.
Now, were you a part of the business on paper, or was it just informal?
No, on paper. Like, I'd file her taxes and everything, like the incorporation every year with the state of Florida.
But I'm saying, but like, were you a member of that entity? Where was it like?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
So then that makes it a little easier for you to be like, all right, like I don't want to do this.
No, everything was under my mom's name. Yeah. Everything was under my mom's name. I just did it because, again, my mom doesn't even check her own email. So, so then I put everything in a very nice document to my sister, and I was like, she is your problem now because I can't do this anymore.
That's a good boundary to have.
Yeah.
That's a good boundary
I was like, I don't want it. I don't care. I don't want it.
Yeah.
You don't listen.
Listen, man.
Raising your parents is hard.
Raising your parents is hard. And especially because in Caribbean culture, there is a heavy emphasis on elders, which is I'm going to ask you a question about that in a little bit. But you could never question your parents. So even if they are operating a business in the country where you're fluent in the language and you have a greater understanding or a grasp of the challenges and the repercussions of malfeasance, you're like, well, you just got to do it for me. That's hard. I'm not going to do that because I know exactly what's going to happen. You might not care because let me tell you something. The Caribbean, there are very few checks and balances.
And she's like, why is that rule there? And I'm like, because it is. Like, what? Just do it. What the heck?
Did your mom get close to you and be like, Angie, okay, I'm going to tell you.
I'm not going to do that. Yeah, and she would. And I'd be like, okay, fine. But it wasn't until that. It wasn't until she had me looking like a liar out here. Me like, please, no, we're not doing this, blah, blah. And then she just went and did it. And I'm like, what the hell, Mommy? I literally told them, you're not going to be charged. We're not going this week. Yeah. Take care. Be safe. And then I got to send them an invoice for the thing I told them that was not going to happen.
Right.
Bro.
Yo, my mom had me doing that. There was a guy while I was in the academy that she tasked with updating her kitchen. You know how Caribbean parents are. They want everything to look regal. It's not enough to put laminate floor on a space that you're redoing. It's you have to have marble tiles and floors, and you must be able to eat cake from your reflection on the floor. And it has to look like you're in a tapestry with curtains and regality. And it's exhausting. But I digress. This man was a bum, and he ended up stiffing her and disappearing in the middle of the project.
Oh, my goodness.
Mind you, the kitchen was still in the gutting phase pretty much when he had done that. And I think he'd started doing I think he did maybe like half of the job, and then he just decided to leave, which was a common occurrence with my mom, is that she would hire these people to do work, but they wouldn't be licensed, or they'd just be shoddy. And then because they're like, I'm trying to save money, and you already know how that goes. So then she put me in the position as enforcer. I can't tell you how many times I'm going through my old emails and I find I stumble upon an email an angrily worded email that I sent to a contractor who likely was not even licensed, or who likely cut corners, likely didn't pull permits, whatever it is. And I'm supposed to like be a muscle and be like, yo, you better come back here and do this. I'm gonna find you. These are gonna be repercussions. And at some point I was like, yo, I can't do this. And I was in the academy. I couldn't do it. I had zero capacity for this. I'm like, yo, listen, Ma, I don't have time for this. I sent one email and that's it. You guys gotta figure it out.
I'm so triggered of making phone calls when I was younger about, well, you tell them this is not going to happen. And I'm like 12. My mom said that that can't happen.
Yo, Angie, you remember that old Cardi B meme? It was a meme of her as a child, and she was like, "My mama said I can't go to your house because y'all got roaches."
Right. Literally. But yeah, that just triggered me, Vlad. Go tell them that no, that can't happen, and I'm not doing that.
I am all set with that. So that's just that being said, folks, if you're listening to this and you're in business with family, be careful. Put things in writing. Yeah. But if it doesn't feel comfortable for you, if you
just
don't
say
feel
no.
safe, just say no.
And again, I'm the biggest just say no. My no button is very on until it comes to my freaking family.
Yeah. And no is a universal word. No, night, nine, no. Okay, just it starts with an N.
Or how I tell the girls, no gracias.
No gracias. No merci. No thank you. So that being said, obviously we're talking about these examples that we have with our moms, and we felt obligated to say yes to them.
Yeah.
What was the message that you received about elders, right? So in this book that I was reading, it was called The Righteous Mind. This philosopher went around the world, studied different cultures as a professor and as a sociologist. And he found that there was 3 ethics. His name was Richard Schweeder, I believe. And there are 3 ethics that run societies all around the world. There's the ethic of autonomy, the ethic of community, and the ethic of divinity. And the ethic of autonomy is more or less aligned with the Western world, the Western philosophy of individualism. Everything is about me. It's go to school, make a name for yourself. When you're 18, get out of the home, get you somewhere to live, get you a high-paying job, pay off your student loans. The American dream can much more or less be achieved by yourself, by your standards for yourself, and everything has to do with you. That is not something that is present around the world. I know for a fact that it's not present in Caribbean culture. People don't just tell you to go out there, be individual, and kick you out the nest. It's you come back, you're never really leaving. You're evolving with your family. So my question for you is, what were the messages that you received about elders, honoring your parents, and how did that shape this concept of contact versus no contact for you?
Yeah, so always respect your elders, and like their word is law because they're wise. They have like the knowledge. They've been here before, but yes and no. They've been here before, but not in the world of today.
Word.
You know what I mean?
Has your mom ever pulled out that Bible verse on you?
Oh, all the time. All the time. Since we've had kids even more because, you're a new mom and then she's giving you advice and everything is like debunked and outdated. And I'm like, Mommy, you haven't had a baby in 30 years. It's not the same. And then Wallace's mama loves to throw it out. These new mamas think they know everything. Yes, about my kid.
We know everything about our children
in
right
2026.
Now.
Yes. Right. Not in 85, last time you had a kid, or 88 for Wallace.
So what were some of the things though? What were some of those outdated principles or suggestions that you were like? Are you crazy?
So my mom, what did she tell me to put in the baby's milk? Like oatmeal. To make him go to sleep. Oatmeal, malanga, like potato, like root vegetables, like to squish it up and give it to them. And I'm like, she can't have solids until she could hold her head up. She could have it. I'm like, no, she can't.
You know what's crazy? I found out my youngest cousin, Christina, they were putting bouillon, which is
the soup.
Haitian soup. It's not even soup jumeau. Bouillon is like with the thick
like broth.
Broth. It's like beefy with carrots and
you blend it and give it to the baby.
They would blend it and put it in her baby bottle. And I'm like, okay, I didn't think I needed to explain this, but just because it's in a baby bottle don't make it baby food.
Yeah.
Yo, Angie. I was like, no. I forgot who told me this. I think it was her. And I was like, what?
Yeah, and I'm all for giving the baby the soup and the vegetables and stuff after they're able to eat solids, not like in their bottle so they could sleep longer. No, now they're just gonna have diarrhea because their bellies can't process anything but milk right now.
Yeah, and spitting up jumeau is not cool.
I'm ready to throw up.
Yeah, like that is not a thing, man. So, but elders hold obviously a big place in the hierarchy.
No, right? Facts. And I'm all for respecting them, and I'll never be disrespectful, but you don't know more than me about my own kid.
Now, here's my question, though. You made a good point. You would never be disrespectful. Will you tolerate being disrespected in order to be respectful to your elders?
No, because to get respect, you have to, what is it? To get respect, you have to give respect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very quick to be like, let me tell you who you're not going to talk to like that. Me.
Let me tell you what's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to tell you, but before I even tell you what's going to happen, let's review what's not going to happen.
Right.
Right.
Because don't get funny, because I will be hilarious, and we're all going to be clowns. All of us together.
We're going to be crawling out this house with big red shoes
ha,
and
ha,
a small car.
Ha, ha, ha. We're all laughing. Okay? Yeah. No. And I'm grateful that it's never gotten to that point where I was disrespected, that I had to be disrespectful. Because as much as someone could say, I'm going to take the high road, no, I would never be that person.
Listen, my high road doesn't have a high elevation these days. Look, for me, going maybe going no contact is a step too far, depending on the situation. But I'm just as cool saying, like, especially these days, for number one, I don't like spending a lot of time on the phone.
Yeah.
And that is a staple in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize I didn't like it until I actually put a boundary with my mom and said, wow, I actually have so much of my day left. I have time to think.
And literally not talking about anything, Vlad.
A lot of times Julie be like, why are you on the phone with your cousin just breathing?
Guess why? Because you have ADHD and your body doubling right now.
We're body doubling, yeah. But I think that's the same reason why I don't particularly like staying on the phone. I can stay on, like, I was just talking to my cousin Steve just a couple hours ago for like an hour and a half. And we're talking about some real stuff.
Yeah.
But I like talking to Steve for that long because I know that he'll understand what I'm going through.
And he needs it too. I feel like y'all both just need that connection. And it's hard when you're not close because you would do that in person if you could.
Me and Steve used to get together and we would go to, maybe we need to do this. I need to pitch this to him. When football season started, we go watch the game at like Whiskey's and stuff. This is before I had kids, man. Yo, I'm telling you, hold on. Here's a PSA.
Take your time to have kids.
Take your damn time,
I tell
because
everybody that.
kids are lovely, but if you're not careful and you just think it's going to be sweet, you're going to live your same life and everything's going to be the same and you're going to have the same autonomy, I have news for you. I got a bridge to sell you, okay? Because I love the days. I love my son. Don't get me wrong. I will not trade watching Hoppers 3 times in a row in the same afternoon with my son for anything. But some days I wish I could just get up and be like, hey, yo, Dave, what you doing, man? Hey, yo, Angie, y'all want to go out and get a bite to eat? Let's have a double date. You got to figure out what to do with the dog. I got to figure out what to do with the kids. And then you got to explain. Not that we have to do it and explain, but then you got to give the routine to somebody else.
No, and it's funny because I feel like sometimes having kids doesn't change some people's lives because they just strap that baby on them and take that baby to the bar.
That's true. Well, remember that? I remember hearing this lady. I think she went to a Lil Wayne concert and she left the baby in the car.
Oh, God. See, no. I've seen people go to concerts with their kids and then they just put the headphones on the baby. Like, they literally have the baby in the baby carrier because they're like, I ain't missing this. And then the baby's literally asleep with headphones so the noise doesn't bother them.
They can sleep in an environment like that at a concert?
Yeah. Lily.
If they're young enough.
Lily, LOL, rest in peace. Our Alana, we had her at all the parties when she was a baby because she literally just sleep on my chest on the baby carrier. And she'd just sleep the whole time, and we'd be at the party with the bachata or merengue playing, and she's just here like this.
No, that's true, because I remember going to a baby shower, and Lito was very small, and we just put his headphones on, and we put the little cover over the car seat thing, and he just slept. He's cool.
Yeah. So. And if you expose them to that environment, then they sleep through anything. So it's like, whatever.
Lito's a heavy sleeper.
Yep, so are the girls.
Yeah.
Yep, they have their sound machine, and they just go to town, go to bed.
How many times have we put the kids to bed, put Lito to bed, and we out here ranting and raving downstairs
till 3 a.m. And they're asleep. And they're asleep because they've been exposed to that environment, which we talked about earlier, how we don't get better at something until we're constantly doing it, like repetitive. And I think that's how the kids have been conditioned to just go to sleep. Guess what time it is? Bedtime. Go to bed. Lay down. Go to bed.
Lito will ask to go to bed now. Daddy, we going to bed? And I'm like, yeah.
Arya's like, look, I'm rubbing my eye. I'm tired.
But before I do that, I want to fight.
Oh, yeah. So freaking Arya, man. Arya now is back to eating her vegetables, and she'll tell Alana, I mean my vegetables so I can fight the bad guys. I want to fight the bad guys.
I love that, though. However you get her to eat her vegetables is cool with me.
I got to be strong. She's like, I want to be strong like Papi. She's so cute.
Oh.
I'll be strong like Papi so I can fight the bad guys.
Why are you trying to fight? Y'all need to put
like
it in
Wallace,
like jiu-jitsu or
bro.
something.
Like Wallace is out here fighting crime. She's always like, I want to fight the. I want to be strong like Papi so I can fight the bad guys.
Let man fighting the event promoter.
This is what I'm saying. Like she's acting like Wallace is out here like not that only police fight the bad guys, but like he's an officer or something.
Or a
she's
bouncer
like,
or something.
right. Please.
You know what? I can see Aria working part-time in college. I can see her being a bouncer.
And you know what's funny too? I was sharing this with some of my friends how, Wallace is very old school. So the girls have been wearing like undershirts since they were like 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But Aria's so tiny, they don't make like little girl tank tops for like her size. So she literally wears like wife beaters under her clothes.
They make
for little boys.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like and I know wife beaters is like not the real term. Like
we call them chemisettes in Coyote.
Yeah.
What y'all call them in
just
in
like
Spanish?
I don't even know. Camisa? No, camisa is
Camisa's
just
a
like
shirt,
a t-shirt.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, so like the boy undershirts, like an undershirt, but the southern term is wife beaters. But anyway, so she looks like a little boxer.
That's too bad.
When she takes off her shirts,
Her little boxer.
and her little she has her hair up, and then she has
be
her
careful.
her boy tank tops.
She might. I have a feeling she's gonna have a tomboy phase.
Oh yeah,
I have a feeling.
big time.
I am so here.
I'm here for it too because we're super girly right now, and Wallace needs his boy fix. With Aria.
I think he might get it because Aria definitely she'll be a part. She will not go no contact. She'll go full contact.
She'll go full contact right in the face,
contact.
right in the face.
Like,
and I think too because in her daycare, she started daycare at 6 months, and for at least a year and a half in the baby class, it was her and 5 little boys, and she had those boys trained because a lot of the little boys' first words were Aria. She had like a little army.
I tell you, it's been consistent that Lito has said Aria's name at every given moment that he can, even when it's not even relevant to do so.
All them little boys, one of their first words was Aria, and all the moms will tell me, it's like, oh, he was asking about Aria yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, she loves her boys.
Oh, hey, listen,
her and her boys.
She does well, and she's not afraid. I love that.
No, she's definitely fearless, and she'll climb on everything, and she jump off stuff. Like she really thinks she's indestructible.
Well, I like that for kids. I like that for kids. But getting back to
please.
getting back to going no contact, right?
Yeah.
What role do you think social media has played in the no contact game? How in polarizing that?
I think so much because now instead of going to actual therapy, people are getting their therapy and advice from social media
and ChatGPT.
Yeah. So yeah, and again, these influencers, fake psychologists, whatever they're calling themselves, and ChatGPT, they don't have like the cultural context of you individually to tell you if you should or shouldn't go no contact.
Right.
They're just saying buzzwords that are popular right now. No contact.
Yeah, and ethically, I was having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. He was like, "Nope, that's not it. That's not true." Because we were talking about going to therapy, and I think he had gone to therapy before, but. Or at least that's what he claimed. I'm like, I don't know, brother. But, he was saying that a good therapist will give you advice. And I said, that's not their role. It's not their function. And ethically speaking, from my understanding, they cannot give you advice. Their job is to get you to your own conclusion using your own data. Yeah. And they may challenge you on certain things, and they might give you tasks to do. But ultimately, for liability purposes, if say a therapist tells you, you know what, your mom is crazy. Go no contact with that lady. And then your mom is psychotic, comes back and like murders you or something.
And that's what I'm saying. They don't have enough, especially the whatever people that you're talking to on social media, they don't have that context to understand why your mom is the way she is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you know that your mom struggles with whatever it is that she may be struggling with, why would you go no contact if you know that she's doing it from this place versus like maliciously? You know what I mean? And it's like you would understand your own mom. A trained professional that's not giving you advice, they're guiding you to make decisions, like you said, based on what you're giving them. If you were to tell them everything that's going on with your mom, they would explain, well, this is why she did this. What do you think you should do next?
Right. And the person I spoke to when at this specific period when Lito was first born was my uncle. And my uncle has always been a father figure in my life. But my Uncle Tino is super, super chill and just real with life, you could just talk to him about anything, right? And you can always trust that he'll give you a level-headed response. And he said, you know what? I explained to him, this is what's been going on. He's like, all right, you know what, Vlad? I'm sorry. I should have thought before I came at you, because I was only going on what your mom told me. I'm like, how are y'all related?
Yeah.
Like, I wish you could, but my mom is one of those people. She's very stubborn. I'm not saying I'm not stubborn either, because I am, but I'm a recovering stubbornaholic. And I know that I need somebody to talk me out of my own way. And sometimes, you know, his message to me wasn't stop talking to your mom. It was always, okay, well, you know your mom. And I think Caribbean people could be a little bit too enabling at times. Like, oh, you know, that's just how they are. I know that's how they are. What are we going to do about it, though? Because it's destructive.
Well, and that's the thing, Vlad, is like, for you personally, how do you expect your mom to have the emotional tools for things like that if she was never taught that? You know what I mean? Like, you have done the work. You've been to therapy. You understand why you are the way you are, why you did the things you did. But she hasn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? And she might now be doing that work, but that's a few years versus all the years that you've done, you know, and more years of lived experience that she has to like break down and go through in order to understand why she did those things.
Well, that's actually a great segue into talking about the Caribbean perspective. That's why Roots and Rhythm has been established in the way that it has been, is because we're both Caribbean bred, right? Even though I was born here, my culture, it's weird, and I hope I don't offend anybody by saying this, but I'm seeing America's 250 and all this stuff, and I don't feel a particular affinity to that.
No.
It's not because I'm not proud to be American, because this is only the place I've ever lived, but my culture, all of my cultural norms and values and ethics don't come from here. So that's what it is.
Yeah.
But the Caribbean perspective, right? When we think about, okay, why don't these things exist in our culture, right? Like, why do Caribbean families and relationships, why do they view differently this concept of family, relationships, and autonomy? Why do we, our people, look at that differently than Americans do?
And I think it's like the village mentality. Like, your whole family has a say into the way that you live your life and do things, because we're all in it together. We all raise our kids together. We're all, as Wallace says, codependent. And I do think sometimes it's healthy and sometimes it's not.
Right.
But we are a very communal people, and we do want to be together all the time, and kind of using each other as villagers to do things together and be with our kids and do all that. And then you're not doing everything alone, the good or the bad. Like, I'm not going through struggles by myself. Like, I know that I have like my family with me in, you know, struggles and in triumphs.
Well, let me ask you this though. How much of that though is, because we know it to be cultural, but how much of that is out of survival versus collective good? Because I know for a fact that in our history as African, in the African diaspora, our history did not start with slavery, but slavery was the point at which many of our original cultural norms and values and practices were disrupted. And so there is a piece of our culture that is directly influenced by chattel slavery, by imperialism. You can't talk about Haiti. You can't talk about its culture. You can't talk about Cuba. You can't talk about its culture. You can't talk about the Dominican Republic. Talk about its culture outside of the context of imperialism, because there are many of those what we see as normal behaviors and tendencies that arrive out of survival. And so for my mom, it's you cannot, for example, setting the boundary of, all right, listen, Mom, you can't talk to me about no who dinkity dunk dunk, okay? Like all this, like
Who dinkity?
who dinkity dunk dunk. Because Angie, my mom was like, Vladimir, don't post no pictures of your baby online.
Oh, yeah.
My mom was trying to tell me, this is my favorite
They're
one.
going to give him mal de ojo.
Is Madishum basically? Is it basically like a curse? Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Mal de ojo, like an evil eye.
Say it one more time.
Mal de ojo.
Mal de ojo? And what exactly is that?
It literally means bad eye, like evil eye. Like someone's going to look and kind of put a curse on them, like an evil eye.
Just by looking?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So my mom told me that if I post any pictures online, that somebody who doesn't like me or doesn't like my family and wants to settle a score may use my picture of my son and put it on a voodoo altar and then will kill my baby.
Yikes.
I'm like, that sounds elaborate. But also, my favorite one was, Vladimir, you can't buy anything for this baby until the baby is born.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, because one day my mom was calling me. I was talking to my mom, and Julie and I were going to the furniture store. We were looking for either cribs at that time, or we might have been looking for like a bureau. I might have been looking for a bureau. And, I think we were maybe a few months out. And my mom was like, Vladimir, why are you buying anything? You can't do that. I was like, says who? She's like, Vladimir, no, that never happens. You never buy anything for kids. People always set up the baby room after the baby's born. I'm like, wait, time out. So you're telling me that I'm going to take my wife who just gave birth and would have spent a week in the hospital with an emergency C-section, who could barely get up 4 flights of steps. We're already not sleeping. We got this new life to take care of. You expect me to build a room around him because of your paranoia?
No.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
No. And you could probably do that on the island because, again, communal living, you got an auntie to just hold a baby.
Right. But there are also echo chambers. Nobody's challenging this because it's just the way that everybody
it's always
does
been.
things.
Yeah, it's always
been.
And
so I think there are even people within the culture who are still in Haiti, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Venezuela, wherever, who are like, yo, this actually doesn't make sense to me. And I think they more so come from our generation and Generation Z and whatever comes after Gen Z. Is it Alpha?
Gen Alpha.
Yeah.
Those are what the kids are.
They're not old enough to have kids, right?
No, it's literally, I think, 2012 till 2025. So anyone born in 26, I think, is Gen Beta or whatever. They're like the next one. So all our kids are Gen Alpha still. But back to the evil eye Cubans, when babies are born, they get an azabache. It's like a little bracelet. I just pulled it up so you can see it. So it's like this little black charm, and you put it like on a bracelet or like a pin or something on the baby. So if someone's looking at them to give them evil eye, it like bounces away. I used to have one when I was a baby. Okay.
Let me guess.
Did I give them to the girls?
Did your mom tell you to keep it?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure she still has it. But no, she doesn't have those anymore because now, she's super Christian and all that is like witchcraft.
Whoa, wait, time out. But I thought that was to evade.
Yeah, but that's more like Catholicism. Now my mom is Christian. So this is all witchcraft. Yes.
I am so confused.
Be confused, Vlad, okay?
I'm so confused.
Be confused.
Have you ever, you got to a point where you started looking at what your parents told you just independently and started thinking to yourself,
still,
how does this
still, Vlad? I
sense?
have very conflicting views currently. Something that I'm currently struggling with Christianity, because I feel like I'm half deconstructing, and I love church. I love the community that we have. But now our churches are as loving as the church that we attend, and it's all part of the Christian umbrella.
And it's
hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard to separate the people in the church who are supposed to be the body. Like a church is supposed to be the body. It's hard to separate them from theology when the theology that they claim that backs up their views in their mind is ironclad. And then you look at the book. And for me, separate episode, obviously, but I get. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, there's a guy that I follow online, and I'm forgetting his name, but I love all his stuff. He's especially now with Pride, is debunking how it's not wrong to be gay biblically. People made that up in the 70s or whatever. It's whatever. But he has a shirt that it's I'm a red letter Christian, not a red hat Christian. So red letters, in the Bible, it's what Jesus said, versus red hat, because all these Trumpers are claiming Christianity and they love Trump in the name of Christianity, and that's
Christian nationalism. That's not even Christian. It's just nationalism.
So I love that. I'm a red letter Christian, not a red hat Christian.
Yeah, I mean, real quick on that topic because June is Pride Month.
Yes.
I have several people in my life that I love very much
Samesies.
who are gay.
Yes.
And I don't this is my biggest thing, the Christians that claim that this is a lifestyle choice and that people, number one, I didn't choose to be straight. I love women, but I didn't choose to be straight. I'm sure there's some women to be like, I wish I didn't love men because men ain't shit.
But Vlad, think
I
about
do.
this. Think about this, Vlad, okay? How many gay people on the internet that are influencers talk about how they were so sheltered in their Christian homes? They weren't allowed to go to regular school. They only went to Christian school.
Or homeschooled.
They were homeschooled. They only were surrounded around Christians because then they're like, oh, the gay agenda. These gay people are making kids gay, right? But how are these people that weren't influenced at all by outside resources? They didn't even have the internet, right?
That's true.
Right? How are they gay?
Because the devil
Because
crept in.
it's right. Because it's not a choice.
Or Angie, the answer would be if the devil didn't crept in and it wasn't sin, it was the fact that they were abused. They just assume that many gay people were sexually abused, and that's why.
By who though?
Confused.
But that's what I'm saying. By who though? If you shelter your kids so much, you know what I'm saying?
But also, like, let's talk about the sexual abuse that's happening in the church and that is being hidden and promulgated all the time.
Yeah.
Have you seen Keep Sweet and Obey?
Oh yes, I have.
Yeah, like, enough said.
It's too much.
Anywho,
But yeah, so
another topic for another day.
Be your best self, live your truth, and be gay and proud if that's what you want to do.
Love yourself. We love you, man. I just love, and I love people, man, because God called us to love each other. That's what Jesus was talking about.
Yeah.
So listen. I don't care what your views are. Just keep them out. Just keep them away from me. All right, and we'll be all right. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. So yeah. So I think that it's fair to say that people from Caribbean communities carry a fair share of conflict when it comes to how do we honor you while honoring ourselves at the right time. There's like that bit of that gray area, and that's where we stand. And as we stand in that gray area, we have to ask ourselves: is not contacting my family at all, is me being completely disengaged from my family, really, is it serving me more than it's hurting me, or is it hurting me more than it's serving me? And I don't really know what the answer for you is to that question. Only really you can make that determination, not your friends, not your family, not anybody else. You have to sit with it and understand why that's happening. But the broader context of this is that the Western world is highly individualistic and autonomous, and we tend to give ourselves, our children, the messaging that life is whatever you want it to be, and screw anybody that doesn't share your vision. And I actually think that's what nationalism is as well, right? The collective good is really based on individual agendas that become collective agendas. So I don't know that. I don't know what's going on in the Caribbean other than to say that many cultures around the world, in order to survive their history, have had to survive it together. You could not be an individual and
it's hard to know. It's hard to know, Vlad, like how would we be if we didn't have, like you said, like that historical perspective of why we are a communal society, right? Like, let's say slavery didn't happen, imperialism didn't happen. Like, how would we be? Would we be as individualized as Western culture?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Some people may argue that. Some people do argue that slavery was better for the people who were enslaved. Zoom in right there. give him that. What would, without saying any words, if somebody said that to you with a straight face, what would you say?
Bitch, what?
Yo. It's funny, but it's tragic.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Big yikes.
Big yikes.
Yeah. See, I don't know.
So when we talk,
oh my gosh.
So when we talking about no contact with our elders and not that there being a way of conflict, here's my question though, which I'm sure many viewers are having within themselves, is how do you stay in contact with elders who refuse to acknowledge that they've hurt you?
I think with some sort of distance still, and just sharing the parts that you are willing to share with them. Like surface level kind of updates, I guess, you know, because I'm also of the belief that my kids, if it's someone that I don't have a relationship with, I need them to come up with that relationship for themselves.
Mm.
Like I would never tell my kids, well, don't talk to them because they did me dirty. You know?
Is that something that was told to you at all growing up?
No. I think my dad definitely, if my dad didn't talk to nobody, he didn't want nobody to talk to them.
Oh, so like your dad had
if he had beef,
interpolitical enemies within his family, like don't talk to them.
Yeah. But my mom was never like that. My mom will let us come. Even like when her and my dad split up, like my mom never talked bad about my dad. She let us come up with our own conclusions ourselves.
So your mom never talked about the things that
Never.
your dad did to her?
Never.
Wow, I commend your mom. Man.
Yeah, never. That's why I'm like, she's getting into heaven.
Wow. But that's... It's so tough.
You know,
because,
like even to this day, like my mom helps take care of my dad, and she should not. She should send him to hell and tell us don't even bring him up.
You know, for me, my parents, they both took turns really taking jabs at each other, and I was always the proxy.
Yeah.
And it made it really difficult to know what it is that I wanted, which is why I'm a chronic recovering people pleaser, because depending on who I was staying with that week or for a season, I had to make them comfortable because they were both missing something that the other was supposed to
Well,
fill.
think about it, Vlad. Your parents would like dog each other out to you, right? Talk bad about each other. You probably felt like, well, I have to make sure my parents are always loving me because look how easily they threw each other away. Like, what if they throw me away? You know what I mean? I completely get that.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be a people pleaser in that situation?
I'm glad you brought that up because that's going to be very crucial. Remind me to remind you to come back to that when we talk about no contact in the greater concept of relationship.
Okay.
But yeah, that is, damn,
you know?
Damn, there's some therapy
Like
going
that,
on here.
Yeah, it just makes total sense.
Yeah.
Especially as a kid. You see two people and you're like, well, dang, at some point in their lives, they loved each other. Like, I'm here, my brother's here. So am I next?
I don't know, Angie. I think I am convinced that I was the product of angry sex.
It's not funny. It's not funny, Vlad. I'm so glad you're here. Angry sex or not.
Yeah, look, without getting graphic, y'all. Like I can't imagine my parents lovingly deciding, let's have another child.
I love you, girl. Let's have a baby. Not the sound effects.
It's just there ain't no cuddling after that either. Just I'm not convinced, and unless my parents tell me otherwise. But there's the other half of me doesn't want to know either way. But to your point, I never saw them resolve things to each other.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't acknowledge what they did to each other was wrong. Still to this day.
Yeah.
I'm still, as in current day, I saw my father last week for his birthday, and my wife was like, she was trying to look out for me. She was like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure this is a good idea? Your father just sent a string of texts to you that were less than okay. Are you sure you want to put yourself through this and subject yourself to this?" I said, "Yes, I want to see him." And there's a part of me that, again, I've gone no contact with my father unintentionally, just because either we get no blow up and he's at fault, we get a blow up and I'm at fault. There's just been seasons in my life where I'm not talking to my dad. I'm not in community with him.
Yeah.
It's nothing for me to be. I think at the greatest length of time had been months, and I hadn't seen my father, heard from him at all, right? But obviously I know a lot more now than I did back then, and I want to see him for his birthday, especially because life is particularly short in that you never know when somebody's just going to wake up and not be here.
Exactly. You don't want regrets.
Yeah, I don't want regrets. Yeah. And so I'm like, if this could be the last birthday I ever see with my dad, I don't know. My dad's in his 80s, y'all. Oh, and fun fact, this is what happens when you don't talk to people, okay? Or people just be keeping secrets, all right? Sometimes family members go no contact with you in that they don't tell you anything that is pertinent for you to know while raising a family.
Yeah, or important information.
Right. So, like, I went to go see my aunt that day, and my aunt tells me, I'm talking to her, and I haven't seen my aunt, my dad's sister, in like 5 years, right? And I didn't even realize it'd been that long.
Oh,
Lita
wow.
was born, we moved.
Where does she live?
She lives in Cambridge.
Oh, shit, she's right there.
I know, she's like right there. Her and I don't really have a relationship
Okay.
like that.
Fair.
She was just always there. She cooked me food. Like
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of time when they were babysitting me, but there was never really like any intentional.
Yeah.
Let me get to know you and create a relationship
Mm-hmm.
with you, which I contend is the adult's job, not the kids.
Yeah.
Which is another part of Caribbean culture that I disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't care what the adult did to you, you go back and do
Ugh.
it. Hell no.
Yeah, Vlad, I have so many.
Hell
I have
no.
so many aunts. That's why I was like, and she lives right there because God forbid, my aunt in New York, we don't go and see her. And by all the way in New York, she's 3 hours away. But we go there at least twice a year because I wouldn't be able to hear the end of it.
Well, and I wasn't. My dad has
Mhm.
been basically saying, "Oh, Tansi said you never go visit her."
Mhm.
I'm like, when was the last time she picked up the phone and called me?
Yeah.
When did she ever pick up the phone?
Well,
and
I will
call
say
me?
this aunt does call me all the time.
Yeah,
and
no.
I need to do better of calling her back. But
She don't never call
Yeah.
me, and trying to balance that history because at one point, Andrew, I got to the point where I was like beating myself up over it,
Mhm.
and I was like, wait a minute, it wasn't my job to create a relationship with her; it was hers.
Yeah.
But look at all the things that we went through, and she never called me. I was living here. It's not like she ever checked on me. He's like, how's Vlad doing? Never called me when I left and went back to live with my mom. Never called me like, Vlad, where you at these days? Are you okay? Is everything
Yeah.
okay?
Let me
None of
make you a
that.
plate
Never.
of food or something.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind. I let go of that.
Mhm.
I go see my aunt. And, it's not like it's bad when I
Yeah.
see her. It's fun. And, we're talking about family history and everything. I'm asking about my grandfather.
Uh-oh.
I'm asking her directly because my dad don't tell me shit.
Mhm.
And so she tells me, oh, yeah, I remember, my father, I was taking care of him, and he'd be vomiting blood. And he had heart issues. I only ever knew that my grandfather died young from a heart attack.
Mhm.
I didn't know how young. And so I said, how old was he? And I'm taking this with a grain of salt because
Yeah.
you'll know why in a minute.
Mhm.
And he's like, oh, he was only 40. He was between the ages of 41 and 46. I'm like, how do you not know exactly the age? But trauma.
Yeah. Because
But-
how old was she? She was in her 20s taking care of him?
I don't know. But
Yeah.
he was 46, between 46 and 41. And I was like, damn. But what was making him vomit blood? And she's like, oh, I don't know.
Now,
Help.
Right. So,
Help
so
me
were
out
they
over here.
were they like diagnosing him themselves? Like they didn't take him to the doctor to give him?
No, apparently he went to the doctor. She explained that there was an American doctor that was working in Haiti, and he would be the one to treat him. And my father only ever said that he was on my grandfather's deathbed. This is something he told me last year when he passed away. Didn't tell me how old he was per se, but my aunt and my dad started arguing back and forth about who was there and who was taking care of him. At one point, she said to my dad, well, how would you know? I was the one taking care of him. And I just assumed that she was doing that because she was a woman. And women are always the caretakers, right? And whatever. And don't even get me into that. But I was like, wait a minute, this is weird. My dad's the patriarch. He's the eldest living sibling. How could she tell him something that he don't remember?
Right.
Like he's gonna be old. So as we were leaving, and I just walked up to Tunzi. I gave her a hug and a kiss, and I said flat, I'm like, Tunzi, how old are you? And she said, and she paused. I'm like, that's never a good sign. But
Where's your license, real quick? Let me see it.
So she said, oh, well, that's not even actually a good count for a lot of immigrants or different things.
Oh yeah, they have 3 birthdays. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So it's been highly confusing. She's like, oh, I'm 84 going on 85. And I said, okay. And Dad's older than you, right? And she's like, and they both looked at me like I was crazy. She's like, no. I was like, wait.
What?
Time out. This is life-blowing right here. Life-breaking, mind-breaking information. My father, I tell him, like, Tunzi, I thought you said my father was the patriarch. I thought he's the oldest living sibling now. And she's like, no. I'm like 3 years older than him. I was like,
So your dad's not 87?
no. And so then I look at my father. And I'm like, I can already see my dad. If this is the door, my dad was like,
Oh my gosh.
I was like, whoa.
Not your dad trying to be older to make himself seem more elderly?
Yeah, I was like, Dad, bring your skinny butt back over here. I was like, wait a minute. If is Tunzi telling the truth? He's like, yeah. I thought you knew that. I was like, no, I didn't, because you never told me your age. I only ever saw my dad's license, and then but then my mom always told me that, oh, he took years away from his age, or he added it to his age. It would switch depending on the time of the conversation. So I'm like, his license has a birthday that's not his real birthday, but his social. I'm like, yo, bro, I am so confused. And
I'm confused.
But ultimately, that made me feel better because I'm like, at least I have more time with him. But I'm like, yo, y'all, This is what dysfunction does to families.
Yes.
Yo, fam, if trauma keeps you from speaking the truths that your grandchildren, your children need to have to live meaningful lives and help the generations heal, for God's sakes, take care of yourself, because this shit is confusing and I can't keep up. My 35-year-old brain is hurting. I might get dementia tomorrow because of all this shit they have to keep unraveling and raveling and trying to figure out. It's confusing.
So, Vlad, let me ask you this.
Damn.
How
bad.
How can you create distance from someone without ending the relationship? Because I feel like with everything that, like your aunt and now your dad, with all the lies and, you know, the long thread of text messages that he sent you that led to this visit.
Right.
Yeah. So how would you keep that distance for your own sanity, but still keeping the relationship? Because obviously you want to keep it.
Well, my father is the reason why I learned how to do this. My first reason. My father wound was the biggest and most important wound for me to tackle. And I wouldn't be able to tackle my mother wound until I started healing my father wound, if that makes sense. But my father and I have had great distance between us at multiple times throughout my life. My father has been as close to me as 5 feet, but as far from me as a whole world emotionally, depending on what was going on with him. And you know, after my parents split, I grew up, went to y'all know the story, went to live with my dad, didn't work out, went back to my mom, moved away, you know, 2 cities over. I'd come see my dad. Went to college, and I remember I was going to college and I was asking him for some help as I need some help with this tuition, and asking my father for money was like kicking his mom in the teeth, you know, because she ain't got nothing kicking. But so big arguments, hanging up the phone, like pushkin. So after great turmoil, that's when I got my father to help me out. But then he disappeared. Yeah. As soon as he handed over the money, I started school and I didn't hear from him, like at all. I'd call him, wouldn't answer. Wouldn't bother going to his house. If I did, I know he wouldn't answer. Like my dad just went ghost, just disappeared. Wow. Right?
And he was still in Cambridge.
Yeah, my father was in Cambridge for 40 years before. He's still in Cambridge, still lives there.
Yeah.
So at some point I had to learn how to have a healthy relationship with him, despite the fact that just inherently our relationship isn't close. I know now that my father is not going to be the one to say, you know what, Vlad, I want to be closer to you and your family, and closer to my grandson. Let me come live with you, or let me come live close to you, or, you know, let me come to these birthday parties, let me come to these events. Like right now, I'm refereeing my dad and my mom being at odds with each other, and my dad holds the keys because all he got to do is apologize for something that he did, and it was actually quite minor in comparison to the other things that he's done to my mom that she forgave him for anyway. So I'm like, Dad, it is nonsensical that you're letting a little snafu on your part and how you handled it. It's just like a clerical error with insurance. All you got to do is say I'm sorry. She didn't even ask you to say I'm sorry for being abusive and for doing all the other things. This is really just, it's silly to me. And I said it to him flat out. We went to go see my grandmother, went to go see my aunt at their grave sites, went to go see my Uncle Eddie for the first time at the gravesite. And my father said something interesting to me, and it's important to this conversation. Well, not to me, while we were there. And we were getting chased by mosquitoes, so we were only at his grave for like...
Let's hurry up.
Yeah, we were only there for
Love you, Uncle Eddie. Wrap it up.
Yeah, bro, we were there for like 30 seconds, I'm not lying, because we were getting... And the mosquitoes were like the size of my phone.
Facts.
It was raining that day, but he said he got to Uncle Eddie's gravesite, and he said, hey, Eddie, I don't know what happened to you. I was like, whoa. Mind you, I think 15, 16, 17 years prior, maybe, I remember walking with my dad to the same cemetery, and he couldn't find his gravesite. And that's when I found out that he was buried there, and B, that he existed, right? Didn't know he had a brother, Eddie.
Oh,
until
wow.
we were looking for this gravesite he couldn't find. So this is...
which number brother is this?
I think Eddie was older than my father. He passed away in 1986.
Oh, wow.
So that was about 5 years before I was born. I think a year after my brother was born. And my dad was in Haiti at the time. And then my father lost his other brother. His other brother was murdered in Haiti, but he was in the United States while that brother died. Yeah. So both of the brothers that he's lost, he hasn't been anywhere near them. And I think my father lives with regret for that. And the way that he has coped with it if you wouldn't even want to say that, is just by shutting off all contact, going no contact, not talking about them. Although my father says I've been going to his grave at least once a month for X amount of years, which is news to me. So anyway, all that being said, there's a vulnerability there that I wouldn't have had that would, and there's a humanization of my father that I wouldn't have seen if I wasn't doing the work that allowed me to show up that day, to come pick him up and to spend my day with him on his birthday. And so learning how to love him meant just accepting that he did the best that he possibly could. He's a man with flaws.
Yeah, with the tools that he had.
Yeah, it's like, how can we expect our parents to heal with tools that they didn't have? And my dad's in his 80s, y'all. He's not. He might have an epiphany, but it might not change his life right now. It might not. It's not definitely not going to reverse time, but it's certainly not going to transform his life in the way that it might transform yours and mine. So it's changing your expectations for the relationship. I don't have the same expectations for my father than I do my wife, or I do for you, or any of my friends. Every person is their own person with their own tendencies, with their own stories, with their own habits.
Yeah, and you have to meet them where they're at.
You got to meet him where he's at. Dad wanted to meet me in Everett. I don't know if he thought he was gonna go with my mom. My mom was like, "Don't you better come here."
I ain't home.
She said, "I ain't home. I don't live here. I took up the house and I moved." So meeting the person where they are, and understanding that if you want to stay in contact with this person, it's possible. You don't have to love everybody up close.
Yeah.
So
That's
how about
fair. What was the question?
What
did I ask you, Vlad?
You would ask me, how do you love somebody from a distance?
Oh, yes.
Without, going no contact and essentially keeping them in your lives, but with boundaries.
I would say limiting like phone calls and like face-to-face interactions. Also kind of like not touching on topics that will trigger you. So it's like we can be in community, but we're not going to talk about what you did to me, or, kind of like those buttons that we all have that people love to push. And then if it gets to that point, then walking away, like, you know what? This is the end of this meeting. And Godspeed. But
we'll
boundaries,
re-examine later.
Yeah, right. I feel like those boundaries are there, but kind of like hard stop. Like you crossed what we said we're not going to cross in this relationship. Like our relationship is this and this with whatever it is, and we can move forward. Now, if it keeps happening, then maybe the no contact is what needs to happen. Or your favorite thing to say, we just need some space. We need space for X amount of time, and that's where it'll start, and then we can continue in a month or whatever is needed.
That's going to be a great segue. Last question on the parent front when we talk about no contact is, do you think it is possible? How am I going to phrase this, man? How am I going to phrase this? Okay, let me just put it this way. Is it possible to live a full life as a parent having gone no contact with your parents?
Oh,
relationship?
If I can be a good parent if I don't speak to my own parents, you mean?
Controversial question.
I don't think so.
Even if it's absolutely necessary, say you have an abusive parent who seems to be dead set on ruining your life.
If in that case, then yes, it has to happen, because how are you going to parent from an empty cup? Like, this person is draining you, and that's not fair to your kid. But if it's something like what we just discussed, like your dad has his own issues that he's working, through, and he didn't have the tools, so it's like you're accepting that. I think in that regard, setting those boundaries and limiting contact with certain conversations, I think is necessary, and that's how you can move forward. But when there's abuse, then definitely not. But I think that family history is so important to even share with your own kid. And maybe that is the relationship. Maybe the relationship is you don't have a relationship with your parent, but then you explain that to your kid, like, this is why. And then that's how you help them grow and kind of giving them those tools so then they don't go through what you went through. But it's tough. It's tough, Vlad, just all around, because kids get curious and they're like, well, I talk to you. Why don't you talk to your dad? Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
So,
has there been anybody, family or not, that you deliberately decided to cut off communication with completely?
Not that I've decided. I think it was decided for me. You know, my sister doesn't talk to any of us. She blocked us all on everything. And the only reason we know that she's alive is because her kids still talk to us.
Oh, shoot. How old are her kids?
They're in their 30s.
Oh, so
yeah.
Cool.
Or the 20. My baby niece is 27 and then 30. And then my nephew's 35. She's in her 60s not talking to us. This is a grown-ass lady.
Well, if anything, that'll make it easier for her to not talk to you because
yeah.
Like,
and again, I just think it's a lot of jealousy. She's just not lived the best life and she doesn't like to see people happy. Like there's no pleasing her. But yeah, so it wasn't my decision. She just decided to cut us all off one day.
If she decided that she wanted to reach out to you next week,
I would talk to her.
What would that relationship and that interaction look like?
We'd have to start from zero. But I would, if she reached out to me, I would talk to her. And then initially I will see where it lands, but I'm going to straight up ask like, what the fuck? Like straight up, because it's just so much history with this girl, with this grown old lady. Because when my parents split up, she kind of just stopped talking to us for a little bit too, because she apparently never liked my mom. And I'm like, how can you not like a saint?
That's hard though.
Yeah.
Because the reason why she doesn't like your mom is outside of her control.
Right. So anyway, but then we squashed that. Like she came with us to like a sibling road trip that we took with my brother, my sister, Wallace, me. And we kind of squashed it. Like we straight up asked her like, bro, you want to be our friend, but you don't like our mom. And what's up with that? And she, she pretty much told us like, oh, I didn't like that your mom would come to my house and like start cleaning up. And I'm like, you could have just told her to stop.
Wait, that's it?
Yeah. And that she just felt like she was like, kind of like, and again, my parents were married and she was like, oh, I didn't like that she'd come and like sit on my dad's lap. And I'm like, well, that was his wife, but okay. And you guys are the same age, but okay. So we kind of squashed
that your mom would sit on your dad's lap while they were married?
Yeah, at her house and clean her house and whatever.
Something tells me it goes deeper.
It goes deeper, but that's what she told us. And, we're like, okay, well, it's squashed. She's like, oh, I think she's great now. We're like, okay. So we had a relationship for a little bit and then everything was honky-dory. And then when my dad was diagnosed with dementia, she was taking care of him. And she straight up told us, like, my kids are older. Like, you guys are starting out your lives. Like, you're graduating from school. He can stay with me. Like, I'll take care of him, whatever. And then one day she went on vacation and Chavela was taking care. Like, she left my dad with Chavela. And then she never came to pick him up and was like, he's your responsibility now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then she's like, well, he's already right. So then since then it's like other things happened. Then COVID happened. And then she pretty much just cut all ties. Pretty much she told my brother that Papi's dead to her anyway. Like he doesn't remember her. And that's just so hurtful for her. And then she can't take it. Yeah, which is fine. Go to therapy like everybody else. Because he's everybody's dad and we all struggle with dementia, like with his dementia. So what's up? But anyway, so then she cut everybody off and now she doesn't talk to anybody. And it's her loss, honestly. Because again, how are 7 people wrong and you're right? And everybody sucks, but you don't. So whatever.
That's tough.
But again, her kids are great and they're still coming around and we all vibe. So she's literally the only person missing out.
Yeah, and hopefully someday she'll be able to.
Someday. And I don't think, and I think I can speak for all my other siblings, the sane ones, to say that if she did come around, that we would accept her, but we'd all be like, what the fuck? And I think that we would deserve an answer.
I think you do.
Yeah.
And
but yeah, that's the only
get one.
Right. And I don't think she's ever gonna come around. I think she's just gonna die with hate in her heart. But that's not my business anymore.
Last question: do you think that our generation is more emotionally aware, more aware of the implication than previous generations? Why?
I think we just have the tools, and we're more open to getting the tools in order to understand what happened to us, why it happened to us, and kind of like to build or rebuild those relationships that did hurt us.
Right.
Or let them go.
Now, this is where we're gonna shift gears a little bit and talk about when no contact meets relationships outside of the parental relationships.
Okay.
So, that being said, when is it necessary for people who are in romantic relationships to go no contact? At what point, under what circumstances, and for what reasons? And what benefit or detriment does that introduce into your life?
I don't think if you want to stay in a relationship, you should go no contact. Now, if you think the relationship is over, please go no contact if that's what you feel you need in your heart. Because at the end of the day, you're no longer tied together. So who cares?
Well, okay, most of my references these days are 90 Day Fiance. 90 Day Fiance inspired. I am still, I'm going to be on that show, not because I'm looking for a visa relationship. I just want to be the friend.
Expert?
I want to be the friend that goes to lunch and be like, boy, you out of your mind? That's what I would be. So Gino and Jasmine, for all those who follow the lore, Gino and Jasmine are a couple that were together and they separated. But what's interesting and especially pertinent to this conversation is how they separated. So they had what was called a trial separation that they came up with as the 90-day last resort, is where all the couples who were basically teetering on the edge of divorce and separation, they go and see experts, they see sexologists, they go through a series of exercises to save their relationship. And so what was produced from that was that they were going to have a trial separation.
Okay.
And so that involves, and I've actually known other people in my life who've done this, that involves completely separating. Completely.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means that they don't have any contact with each other at all, but one person's living in an Airbnb, one person's living at the house. They're living apart while still being married, trying to figure out if that is the answer to their questions. And I remember I said to myself, I'm like, how in the world, if you're trying to stay together, will being apart help you learn how to be together?
That doesn't make any sense to me either. I would understand kind of like moving a little bit backwards, like, oh, you guys should date each other again. But that also requires you being in the same vicinity. You know what I mean? Because when you're dating, you want to be all up each other's booty anyway. You want to be together all the time.
You're trying to reignite that flame. But how are you going to do that if you put the lighter
and the sticks aren't together to make the flame? You got the sticks in separate locations. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. So it's like, if you want to stay together, be together and figure it out.
Right.
Because you can't do that separately. But I'm also not an expert.
I've
just been married for 14 years, Vlad. That's all I got.
Right. And I'm not an expert either, but I do know that I was just having this conversation with my cousin, in that if you have issues with somebody, the way to resolve those issues isn't permanent space or an undefined length of time in which you're not talking about the issues. That's how issues become cancerous. And as difficult as it is, like for myself, I have an avoidant attachment style, which means that as soon as something comes my way, that feels like a conflict, because of how I respond to that conflict in the same way that I respond to my parents' conflict. I go and hide.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how much therapy, doesn't matter how much intervention, doesn't matter how many groups, whatever it is, like that is still a tendency of mine that I'm still working through to this day. Okay. So I can understand how detrimental that is to my relationship. How could it be possible for us to go no contact and expect to remain married?
Yeah.
Because in my mind, if I'm away from you, I have to enter a new level of and set of expectations in order for me to acclimate to this. I know that if I'm going to live in that Airbnb or I'm going to live in that other apartment, I'm not going to have you in my face. I'm going to be living like a bachelor.
Well, and that's the thing.
So why do I if I'm willing to separate from you, why do I want to be with you? At that point, I'm already ready.
Right. I am literally setting up my life to be single.
Right. When I was toxic, I had a very bad tendency to do this.
When I was toxic.
Yeah, I'm less toxic these days, but I had a time in my life, Angie, where I had that ain't shit squint. Insider. And so what I would tell my girlfriends at the time, if I really wanted to break up with you, but I didn't want to break your heart,
Mm-hmm.
I would try to, in my mind, try to soften the blow by saying, I think we need to take a break. And
Okay,
oh,
that's like a Friends reference. We were on a break. It
it's so
doesn't
bad.
count. It doesn't count because we were on a break.
There was this woman I dated in high school, and she was just a little girl, okay, because we were all little kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I needed to take a break. Now, this girl was very immature. She was getting on my nerves, and I just couldn't stand it anymore, okay? And at one point, I just said, I need a way out of this without signaling the alarms that are going to send her little armies of little, because we were 2 years apart. She's a freshman, I was a junior.
Yeah.
I got to find a way to do this without going crazy. So I said, we need to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometime later, she's like, I thought we were taking a break. Are we going to get back together? I'm like, no, I think you misunderstood me. I said we needed to break. I mean, it's not funny, but it is.
Oh my god!
In retrospect, I'm like, Vlad, that was a terrible idea.
Mm-hmm. Yikes.
Because at that point, I'd already known that I just didn't want to deal with you anymore.
Yeah.
And as we all know, that marriage is a commitment. A relationship is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up every day. You might not like Wallace every day,
Yeah.
but you still wake up being willing to try and be married to him.
Yeah. I will say, I still like Wallace even when I'm mad at him. Because he's never done anything in my heart and brain that would make me not like him.
Well, let me rephrase. There might be things that he does at times where you don't like what he's doing.
Oh, this shit's mad annoying.
It's mad annoying,
yes.
right? And you might not want to be up in his face right then. But you still like him as a person.
Yes.
It's okay to like someone as a person.
And not like what they
behavior.
do. Yes. I get it now.
Yeah. So, so I don't know. Y'all let us know in the comments. Is going no contact in a relationship actually good for the relationship? Can going no contact and separating on a trial basis be supplemental to a recovery plan, or are you just fooling yourself?
I think if you in your heart feel like you need to go no contact and you're in a relationship, just let that person go. Let it go. Let them go. And what's the saying? If they come back, it was meant to be. And if not, it wasn't.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. But let them go.
On that vein, I do believe, and this is just my thoughts, and you can add to this or disagree if you want, is you should, unless you share children with an baby mama, ex-partner, you need to go no contact with them if you're going to be in a new relationship.
I agree with that. Because what purpose is that relationship serving?
For some people, again, 90-Day Fiance reference, there's a girl who is dating this man from, I think, Syria or something. And she's very good friends with her ex. They've been intimate. Now, I already know what men think. If you've been in there, that's it.
Yeah.
No, men don't it's not like anybody has expectations that a person is going to be a virgin or a flower and keep and hold out until marriage.
That's true. Men are very visual and
we're visual and we're territorial.
Yes. And it's funny, Vlad, because I remember when me and Wallace first got together, I wanted to know everything because I was like, you ain't gonna have me looking stupid. I was like, I need to know everyone and the not depths, but like how intimate it was and like everything y'all did. So I could know.
If Wallace had a woman that he was friends with when he was answering those questions, and he happened to, on a drunken, college night or
you can't be friends. No,
under any circumstances.
No, because you're gonna have me out here looking stupid.
but how though?
Because if you're friends with them, they're all in my face, and we've literally had the same fruit, and I don't want no.
But how is that different than if that person happened to procreate with him?
Oh, I would never get with Wallace if he had kids. We wouldn't.
Say you met Wallace in a different universe. You guys had both had kids, and Wallace was still the same person. You were still the same person, but you were coming out of your own
again, I would never be with someone that had children.
But what if you were? I'm just saying, if you can imagine in your brain.
My brain can't compute.
Imagine in your brain if
Vlad,
there's a scenario.
Listen, knock on wood. If me and Wallace separate, if he dies, whatever, like we're not together, I'm single with the girls. I could still not be with someone with kids. I don't want it. I don't.
Would you still be open to dating?
I would.
How could you date somebody in that scenario? How could you find somebody who is around your age bracket, maturity level, ambitious, all the other things, and not have children. That's like virtually impossible.
It's not impossible. And if it is impossible, then I'm not meant to be with someone else, Vlad. I know.
I think
call me narrow-minded, but that's my feelings.
I think it's
and I wouldn't,
rosy.
But I wouldn't hold it against someone if they're like, oh, I don't want to be with you because you have kids. That's their prerogative. You know what I mean?
So you wouldn't want... What if somebody... All right, we're not even going to do the what ifs because that's a moot point.
We're going to be here for 3 hours, Vlad, because I'm very set in stone about this.
Okay, all right, fine.
But yeah.
But, okay, so then it wouldn't even have mattered if Wallace had kids with this person.
No.
There's no difference in your mind between a baby mom and an ex.
No.
Okay.
Same thing to me.
So, So what you're saying though then is it
for
would be
me,
okay for
for
them?
me. This is for Angie, right? But if a friend of mine, my sisters aren't with people that have previous kids.
Yeah, just go with it.
But okay, but if they did, like, I think you have to expect a contact with your ex if there's kids involved.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's impossible for you not to. Then what kind of parent are they? And what kind of parent are you that you don't allow the parent of your child to see them? So I understand that. In that respect, yes, there should be contact. If there are no kids involved, what is that relationship serving in the current relationship?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've had conversations with men about this, and I get inconsistent answers in that I can't find many men that are okay with going no contact with their exes, and I don't know why. One of my cousins, he was dating this woman that nobody in the family liked, and
how did that work out?
It didn't.
It didn't. No.
It did not.
Mm-hmm.
It did not work at all ever for any length of time.
Nope.
But alas, he was with this person for 3 months or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, I wish it was 3 months.
I wish.
So he was with this person for 3 years, right? And I just assumed because of the nature of how the relationship ended, which wasn't very pretty,
Mm-hmm.
that they were just done, clean break,
Mm-hmm.
have a nice life. It's been real. See you later.
Yeah.
But he remained in contact with this ex through social media,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like they were sending messages to each
Right,
other or
but they
anything
were
like
still
that.
friendly.
But they were still friends.
Mm-hmm.
He may or may not have been wishing her a happy birthday on Facebook. He may or may not have been like watching her stories and knowing what's going on with her life. And I remember I asked him, what does it serve you to know what an ex is doing? They might not be thinking about you. And so he's like, oh, no, I can't be that person to cut them off. I can't do that. I'm not that type of person. I'm like, all right. So you know what happened?
They got back together?
No.
Oh.
A couple years later, or a number of years later, this woman was stalking him and trying to get him back after years of not being together. And I'm talking about like 5 years later, 4 or 5 years later, and she was sending gifts to his house, like cologne to his house.
Mm-hmm.
She was hitting up his friends, talking about, hey, I'm trying to get back with so-and-so,
Mm-hmm.
so I need you to ask him out to coffee
Mm-hmm.
at this location, and then I'm going to show up and ambush him and try to get him to take me back. And I said, bro, you see what happens when you stay in contact? I told your ass, man. Like, I told you, bro. Like, I told you. I was like, you have no idea. You might be dating somebody and you break up for whatever reason. That they may become a completely different person when you break up with them to you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, bro, I'm not friends with any of my exes.
No.
Now.
Uh-oh.
Now.
Yikes.
Now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say that there's not. I'm not going to say I'm not connected with anybody I've ever dated on Facebook, but these are people that I dated for, I'm not exaggerating because I exaggerate a lot, I know, 5 days. I dated this woman for 5 days in high school.
I think it's different,
That's
Vlad,
very different.
when...
We weren't even intimate.
Right. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
Were you intimate with them or not?
I'm not friends with anybody else.
Right, exactly. Because that's the other thing. So I was saying earlier how I was like, I need to know, Wallace, you don't make me out here looking stupid, who you've been with, how long, whatever. Because I'm willing, if I could dish it, I can take it. So I was like, Wallace, I'm willing to share all that information with you. And he's like, I don't want to know.
Men don't want to know.
He was like, I don't want to know. All I'm going to see, I'm going to just picture you with these people. I don't want to know.
You know how there used to be a string of commercials for Carfax, but show me the Carfax.
Call me the Shown Facts. That's what we used to say.
Wait, what?
Like the Shown Facts, it's just a Southern term. It's like a thought, pretty much. Like the thought facts.
Y'all are weird down
Yeah.
south, man.
So pretty much like just the Carfax, but for your partners.
Yeah, well, men don't want to see the kitty facts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't want to know that. If anything, we would rather not know what has transpired, and we just assume that you're a virgin for the sake of this relationship. We okay with knowing that you're not. We just don't need to know how you're not.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts. So Wallace was like, I don't want to know. I don't care. I know you're not going to have me out here looking stupid. And I was like, well, not that I think you're going to have me out here looking stupid, but I want to know. I need to know those things.
But why? Why for you? Why do you need to know that?
One, because I'm nosy as hell. Let's be real out here.
At least you admit it.
Right. And two, because I also I don't want people having one up on me, if that makes sense.
Well, wait.
Like they just know something I don't know. I need to know.
Time out. Let's define terms here. Define like terms. Let's bring it back to algebra. What do you mean have a one up on you? How can somebody who is in his past have a one up on you?
Because they know that they've been together and I don't know, but we know the same information.
Wait. Okay. Can you repeat that a little slower, please? Because I got lost.
It makes sense in my brain, Vlad, okay? So it's like if you know something I don't know, it's like you have more information than me. But now we have the same information. I know you've been with Wallace. Like you don't have that over me. Like I already know.
So then what else do you need to know? You assume that Wallace is going to tell you whatever he told them.
And he did, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I trust Wallace.
So then why would you need to know what he told his exes?
No, not what he told them, that they've been together.
So when you say I need to know, I just need to know who you...
Yeah, who you've been with. Not what you've told them your whole life.
So we're talking about like names, date of birth, social security,
No, names
address,
that you were with them, like you were
blood type.
intimate with them, and that's it. That's all I needed to know.
First and last name?
I mean, I already knew that, yes. Important.
Date of birth?
No. That Wallace probably doesn't even know that.
Blood type?
No.
Place of connection?
Country of origin? Yes.
Yo, dude, this sounds like a spousal interview, man. You go down to customs, you gotta tell them the whole thing.
But it just made sense to me. Like, I don't want some woman running around here like, oh, I've been with her man, and then I don't know.
You know what? I'm going to give you that. Because I remember I felt some type of way. I was in my bag when Julie told me of this guy that she'd hooked up with in college. Now, this is like years and years before. I haven't told Julie about everybody that I hooked up with in college. Or maybe I have, actually. I don't know. But either way, I mean, again, that stuff doesn't matter to me in the grand scheme. But like when she told me, I was feeling my bag because I had heard this name before, but I didn't know that they hooked up.
You see?
It was inconsequential nonetheless.
And that's why I needed to know. We're getting serious. I need to know. Because if this woman, for whatever reason, doesn't like me and throws that in my face one day and I had no idea, how am I winning this fight, Vlad?
But if he's not connected to her, it wouldn't even matter. Why would she couldn't throw anything in your face if she didn't have access to you.
But what if she did have access? What if we were working at the same job or something? Like Wallace,
what are the odds of that?
I don't know, Vlad. I don't know. These are the things that go in my brain, and it wouldn't have been Wallace's fault. You know what I mean? So that's
true.
what I just needed to know. Again, so I'm not out here looking stupid.
Ooh. Okay, second to last question, I promise, and then we'll do it.
I was like, we've been talking for a long time.
Second to last question. Are there things in your mind that are ever acceptable to not tell your partner about your past? Significant or insignificant?
No, I think you should tell your partner everything if you're trusting them with your life. You guys are going to be together.
Like, for example, I use the example of Julie, hooking up with this guy back in college. She doesn't talk to this man.
Yeah, and she probably didn't think it was important.
Right.
But I feel like if you were directly asking her, like I asked Wallace, and she kept it from you, that's a problem. But again, she didn't think it was important because you didn't directly ask her. I want to know names of everybody you've been with, and then you found out. That's kind of, to me, that would be hurtful.
Yeah, that would
if
be
she
hurtful.
purposely kept it from you.
Yeah, because that would make me think, okay.
What else?
For some reason, you didn't want me to know this. What else don't you want me to know? I know there's some people who believe and who say what they don't know won't hurt them. No. Sometimes people keep things from their partners for their own sanity.
And I think that that's okay because you know your partner best. But if they directly ask you about the thing that you're keeping from them and then you lie, I think that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
So back then, Wallace was like, I don't care. I don't want to know. And I'm like, okay, cool, respect that. But if like today he's like, yo, have you ever hooked up with this person? And
Tell
I,
the truth.
right, you have to tell them the truth.
Yeah, tell them the
you
truth.
know what I mean? So I think if I lie, then that's the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But be honest. Like, why would you not be honest with the person you've decided to literally give yourself to?
That's true.
You know?
Well, that actually leads me into my final question is obviously going no contact we've established within the boundaries of a loving relationship is not productive. But what if that means just saying, I need some time to process this, whatever it may be it a change in the relationship, be it an argument, a conflict. I just need time to process this, and in that time, I am requesting that you give me some space. And that may look like, I don't know, you spending a weekend for yourself, going out somewhere. It might mean just you taking a couple of hours alone and just not like letting them do their thing. I'm doing my thing. We're down here. Is that acceptable?
I think it is, because it has an end time.
Yeah.
You know, it can't just, like we were talking earlier about trial separations, that has no end date.
Yeah,
taking a weekend, well, and then I'm okay with that. I just feel like it needs to have like a definite time. I need the weekend to process. I need to sleep on it. That means we're gonna wake up, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a definite end to the separation or the space. Because again, some people need that time to process, but it's just to separate all willy-nilly and we don't know when it's going to end so we can come back to it and talk. I think that's not acceptable.
So in your mind, taking space has to be done intentionally.
Yes, and with an end time, so I know, or the person knows, like, okay, after this time ends, then we can come back and try to solve the problem. You just need a time to process, which is understandable. Like, so that's what some people need.
Yeah, that's real, because putting in the perspective, sometimes, like I said, for myself, that survival tactic was indefinite because I didn't know when my parents would come back within a striking distance of each other. So I would hide until I knew the coast was clear.
Yeah.
But what that does is that it produces, especially as it produces a coping mechanism, is that I would just hide from conflict. Not on a subconscious level, being able to differentiate it between I'm home with my parents and I'm a child, or I'm an adult in this relationship and I'm uncomfortable right now. And so there would be an indefinite time. Yeah. I would tell these girls, I just need a break. I just need you to get out my face. I'm done fighting. I'm done doing all this. But without ever having the intention of resolving it.
Right. A one-way ticket, no return flight.
Yeah, for real. I'm like, I told this girl, man, the first time I had to break up with somebody face to face.
You were sweating.
Was in college, and I was sweating like Angie be sweating. I was sweating. I did the right thing. I made the right decision. I did the right thing by doing it face to face. Not breaking up through text message or through MySpace back then or whatever it was. Facebook. Oh my gosh. Which I did in high school. AIM.
Oh yeah.
It was never break up with you and AIM.
Your status, I'm single now. That's how they find out.
Yo, the worst thing was you see that away status and you're like, you talking about me? And then guess what? Instead of direct aiming you because you on your away message and you gonna auto reply with me, I'm gonna put my away message. Yeah. I guess I'm single now because people be tripping.
Exactly. And that's how you find out that you're no longer in a relationship.
Damn. There ain't nothing worse than an AOL breakup. So final thoughts, right? This is the only thing I have to say, and this is gonna be very short. What if going no contact didn't mean that you were cutting somebody off? What if it meant that you were taking intentional space and time to heal, to lick your wounds, as they say, and to figure out exactly what you need in this moment in order to come back or to leave? I think oftentimes because of cultural influences and pressures, because of societal influences and pressures, or just the way that our lives are shaped and structured, we feel the need to be in constant contact with everybody. We feel the need to respond to every text message, every email, every mode of contact, right? If people are trying to get in touch with us. And I think oftentimes in trying to please everybody and remaining in relationships that either no longer serve us or right now we don't have the capacity towards, we may slip down that slope of denying ourselves and hurting ourselves and subjecting ourselves unduly to harm that otherwise doesn't need to happen. Yeah. So my final thought on this, Angie, is that no contact, cutting off complete communication sometimes is the necessary, I want to say evil, but it's the necessary tactic in order for you to be okay for the people that you want to remain in contact with.
Yep.
But being we're in the Western world, I can't tell you what to do.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what to do. And sometimes I even have a hard time telling me what to do.
Amen.
But there's a reason why other cultures have ethics of community. And so it doesn't actually repair the problem, be it with a parent or somebody else, for you to initiate no contact if there's a chance that person could actually be in a community with you with the right tools. If they're willing to listen, then then leave and come back. Blow off some steam and come back. And if they're able to sit through an explanation of how it's hurt you, how you experienced it using the I statements, setting that boundary, then if that person's willing to give you an audience and willing to work it out with you, and do it.
Yeah,
So.
and that's part of my final thought too. If you do decide to go no contact with someone, let them know the reasons why, because it might just be a misunderstanding. And if they're willing to repair in that moment, maybe you don't even need to go no contact. Maybe the situation can be resolved right then, and it just needs, like, to Vlad's point, some distance, and it can be squashed, and you can continue to be in community. So people don't know that they hurt you unless you speak up. I feel like that's always the trend. Speak up if something bothers you and go from there. So
one last question to add to your final thought. What do you say to the people who are like me, who have avoidant or fearful attachment styles and that are afraid, and as much as they want to tell their partner or tell that person, hey, this hurt me, they fear they have a fear that it's going to result in something much bigger than it. So, you know what I'm saying? So, like, what do you say to the people that want to speak up and want the connection, but also are battling that attachment style and that coping skill?
Yeah, sometimes you just have to do it scared, Vlad. Like, we have to go through these things in order to grow. Do we want to stay in the same space? And who's to say that you sharing that might open the eyes of that person, and they might not even know that they're hurting you. You know what I mean? So it's like, unless you do it, you won't grow and you can't overcome. So do it scared. No one's going to die.
No one is going to die.
At the end of the day, no one's going to die.
I hope not.
No.
I hope not. Don't say Roots and Rhythm told you to take life into your own hands, okay? But listen, folks, thank you for listening and tapping in with us. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Yes.
Next time you hear from us, we will be going live. You heard me with my little Haitian accent?
Live.
Like, we are be going live.
We are be going live.
We are be going live. It is 1 year of Roots and Rhythm. Come join us for some nice celebrations. Maybe we got to pop some champagne or something.
Yes, and it'll be on the 19th. Time pending, but probably noon.
Make sure you follow us on social media, because we are going live. We want you to be there to celebrate with us. Let's go. It's your boy Vlad the Bull, your #1 Embrace coach.
And Angie, La Cyber Mommy.
We are out of here.
Deuces.
Stay rooted.